Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about kinetic energy. Whenever we talk about kinetic energy, the first thing we always think of is movement. Because essentially what kinetic energy is how much energy a moving object has, how much energy is stored within a moving object. So there's two different things that can kind of influence the amount of kinetic energy an object has. So let's imagine we've got two people here. This person here, they are walking briskly at 5 meters per second. Whereas this person here, this is Usain Bolt, and he's running at 10 meters per second. So which one of the two has more kinetic energy? Well, obviously the one with the greater velocity. So velocity is one thing that can affect kinetic energy. So what's the other thing? Let's imagine this time we've got the same person, again this person here, who's travelling at 5 meters per second, but this time we have a lorry that is also travelling at 5 meters per second. So they're travelling at the same velocity. Which one has more kinetic energy? Well, the lorry does, because mass also contributes towards kinetic energy. The greater the mass, the greater the kinetic energy. So with that in mind, that helps us to figure out and understand this equation. The equation for kinetic energy, I'm just using KE here for kinetic energy, is half times mass times velocity squared. That is the equation that we have to remember, because remember, velocity and mass both influence the size of kinetic energy. So let's have a quick look at a typical kind of exam question. Calculate the kinetic energy of a 100 kilogram man who is walking at velocity of 5 meters per second. So let's first of all go through and annotate it. So 100 kilograms, that's my value for mass. 5 meters per second, that is my value for velocity. So again, let's remind ourselves of the equation we're going to use. Kinetic energy equals, obviously we need to label that as kinetic energy as well. Kinetic energy equals half times mass times velocity squared. Okay? So, what I need to do next is I just need to put this into my calculator. So, it's half, remember half you could use is 0.5, times mass times velocity squared. So my kinetic energy equals 1,250. But let's see, kinetic energy, whenever we've got energy, I know that it's measured in joules. So that's quite simply how to carry out a kinetic energy calculation. So remember, the equation we need to remember is half times mass times velocity squared, because increasing the mass increases the kinetic energy, and increasing the velocity increases the kinetic energy. And this is how we apply it to an exam question. Thank you.